Hello there, my name is Claus Raasted, and I'm doing 100 keynotes in 100 days. 100 innovation keynotes, that is. Now today is keynote number 38, and I'm going to be talking about using the physical in a digital space. This is also why I don't have my standard keynote set up, but just how you would see me in a Zoom meeting, because I want to kind of showcase a little bit on how to use the physical, even though we're now, a lot of us, mostly interacting via things like screens. For example, via Zoom meetings or Microsoft Teams or Google Hang, all that sort of jazz. So the first thing I want to point to you is, what can you actually do with physical space in a digital setting like this? Number one thing, you can of course use it as decoration. So here, I can take this bear and I don't really know what I'm going to use the bear for, but I can take the bear from where it is in my background and take it into foreground. So that's very, very easy. And perhaps a little bit more fun with this, one of my daughter Saga's toys, knit by her grandmother. Very, very nice. It's an owl. I'm going to put the owl back. We'll leave the owl here for now, come to think of it. So the first thing you can do, of course, is that you can take things from where you are and take them into the conversation. Maybe if somebody says, Klaus, what is an object that tells something about you? And I could take from my desk, I could take one of these, an extraordinary card from the College of Extraordinary Experiences, where I am the director. And this is a nice card which gives some information. This is from a kind of, it's an experience design card from our event. So that would say something about me, and it's just basically taking something from my table. So that is it's a fun exercise to do in a Zoom meeting. You can use this sort of thing for more or less serious stuff. So that's one thing, is that you can use what you already have. That's, of course, obvious. What I want to talk about today is something a little bit different, and it's inspired by the fact that today I got not one, but two packages in the mail. And one of these was, let me find it. One of these was from some nice Estonian school leaders who I've had the opportunity to help a little bit with looking at how Danish schools function, and especially how innovation could be done in the Estonian educational system. And they were kind enough to send a gift. There's some chocolate here, very nice, and a handwritten card, also very nice. So this I received in the mail today, and it made me very happy, because I didn't expect it, I didn't ask for it, but it was a kind gift. It showed that they appreciated the time I'd spent with them, which I really, really like, and I'm really glad I got to help them. And they appreciated enough to do something and send me that little gift, and it probably didn't cost a lot. I mean, this chocolate seems nice, but I don't think it's going to break anybody's bank. And there's a nice card, and here's some nice artwork. But again, it's not the price tag on this that counts. It's the effort that's put into it. Somebody actually sat down, decided to do this, wrote a card, sent that card in the mail, put some chocolate there with it, and sent it to me. Very, very cool. Thank you to, you know who you are, who did it. But to those of you who are watching on, this is a pretty simple thing to do. And getting people's address is not that hard these days, especially if you have an ally or two that you're working with, the internet, for example. And it makes a hell of a difference. So thank you, Estonian school leaders, for this, and especially thank you to Piret, who actually did it. Now, the other thing I got today, and here I'm going to shift to the other camera to show you that, so we'll get a little bit closer up. Hello and welcome to the other camera. Now here, as you can see, here's my hand, so it's zoomed quite a bit in, and this is because I got a note. Here was a note and a package from John and Juraj, who I sometimes do a little bit of work with at Aviadev, and they sent a nice and inspirational message. Hey Klaus, thanks for your support, inspiration, collaboration, keep soaring. John and Juraj from Aviadev. Now, first of all, I really loved getting that message. Thank you guys. Here's me trying to do a thumbs up to the screen. But they also sent on some other stuff. They sent, for example, I got this nice calendar from Embraer, which is one of their partners. And they sent one of these along. And then they sent this lovely, lovely, small jet aircraft. As you can see, it has the AviaDev logo, aviationdevelop.com. And you can see here, there's like the, can you see it? Will it? It won't really autofocus on it. There it is. So it says AviaDev on it. So it's an Embraer plane from the aircraft maker Embraer, but it has AviaDev colors and it has the AviaDev logo on it. And this John, who's the kind of the lead, the boss at AviaDev, told me about these, that he'd gotten these specially made as part of a deal with Embraer, and he'd given them out at conventions and trade shows and that sort of thing. And they're really cool because if somebody gives you a plane like this, you're likely to keep it. You're likely to put it somewhere. For me, it's going to go on my shelf. And if I just gotten a business card or something, sure, that would have been nice. But this, I'm not going to say it has usability because I don't really have a practical use for it, but it definitely has some decorative aspect to it. So it's going to go up on my shelf and will be seen in every meeting from now on. So point one, I think it was kind of John and Uri to send it. I'm very happy they did. But also it's a smart trick because it means I'm now going to have that standing in my meetings from now on for at least quite a while. And then if somebody says, hey, what's that plane? Then I'll talk about AviaDev. So smart marketing, nice friendship, everybody wins. The second thing they sent was and it's a little bit rumpled, they sent a t-shirt. This is a t-shirt, and it has, again, AviaDev Development Conference. Very, very cool. Now, getting a t-shirt is pretty nice. Because one, I could wear it if I went to an aviation conference and I'd kind of be part of the cool club. But now I can just wear it as kind of a comfortable wear at home. And the truth is, I don't actually own any t-shirts anymore. I just have kind of dress shirts and suits, that sort of thing. So this, for me, is going to be a comfortable piece of clothing. And they probably made them while they were doing some sort of event. So John had them lying around, used so they could be used for something like this. And even though I didn't get it physically, at an event, I got it here and I'm going to use it. It doesn't have the same marketing potential as the aircraft because I'm probably not going to use it in meetings, except, of course, if I know I'm meeting John or Uri or somebody from AviaDev, then I might put it on for that, or maybe one of their partners. So it does have a little bit of that, but most of all, it's super useful. So thank you for this, guys. And it's a great thing. If you have them, it's a great thing to send to people. Now, the calendar is, of course, useful. I showed it before. The calendar from Embraer is, of course, useful and pretty, and our daughter actually looked at it like, ooh, she likes it. That's why it has now glitter on it. That came from her, not from the calendar itself. And it's useful, and it will remind me of both Embraer and AviaDev when I look at it. So, useful thing, and if I already had enough calendars, well, then it was at least a nice gift. Now, here it gets interesting because here, one of the things about AviaDev is that they're both Europe and Africa, which are kind of their primary areas, but they started in Africa, AviaDev Africa, with doing conferences and kind of getting people together. And John has a tendency to wear these colorful ties. I've especially seen him in that. So I have a feeling that this, I don't know where it's from, but it might just be from Ghana or something like that. And even if I don't know, then I can at least pretend it is. But it's useful, it's fun, it's colorful, it's something that will get people talking if I wear this during a meeting. And of course I'm going to do that at some point, especially a meeting that is AviaDev related, so I can tell the story of how I got it. Then it's pretty nice because it's remarkable. And again, pretty simple. There's also a tie. Not unwrapped yet, but in the same pattern. So I have matching butterfly and tie. Very, very cool. Because ties are something that I can use here, even though the world is now digital. This is something that I can use here. I'm going to flip back to the other camera now. Why am I showing you these things? Is it because I've suddenly become a YouTuber that does unboxing videos? Well, no. I'm showing them to you because I feel that it's a very underappreciated thing we have here. There's a chance to delight other people, whether it's customers or partners or contacts, people you have workshops with or meetings or potential clients, who cares? there's a chance here to delight people. And of course, that chance has already been there, and we're used to it in other contexts. We're used to people going to conferences. For example, if I take here, I have a book, the book that Robert and I wrote. If I went to a conference, I might bring 20 books in my backpack, and then I'd hand them out at that conference to people who I thought deserved one and would be happy to have one. Or maybe I'd give them out to strategic partners, or maybe just hand them to somebody who got really excited about it. They're a good gift if I'm there to give them out. And that's still a book. It has some value to it and has some cost. But even that sort of thing, well, that makes a huge difference to somebody's life. And we're used to that. We're used to kind of this gift-giving culture in many places in the world. We're used to that businesses involve a little bit of gift-giving. And at least, even if it doesn't involve it, then you can do it, and it's always appreciated. But that's the physical world. That's what we're used to. Now, imagine you have a meeting with somebody. You're in a workshop, or it's a business meeting, or it's just one of those virtual coffee meetings. I don't care what it is. Then maybe 2 days later, maybe a week later, maybe a month later, suddenly there's a mysterious package in the mail. And you're like, oh, what's this? And then maybe it's a book, or maybe it's a tie, or maybe it's just a small, kind, handwritten note. That's going to make a difference. I know it did for me, receiving 2 of those today. And it makes a difference on several levels. That's why I want to be an advocate for doing this sort of, shall we say, thing. Point 1, when the packages arrived in the mail, then Sue, my better half, put them on our dining room table and said, oh, there's a package for you. Or there's several packages for you, actually. And we're like, oh, who could that be from? And what could it be? And there's a bit of speculation. And Saga's like, what are the packages, Dad? And we come together and we have a little bit of a family moment, wondering, who are they from? What's going on here? And then I check out and say, oh, okay, one is from the Aviadev people. One is from Estonia. Oh, that's interesting. Wow, there's excitement. And I tell them who they're from. And they're like, oh, that's cool. And then we open them. We have an opening experience together, especially Saga, our almost 3-year-old daughter, very much enjoys opening packages, even if they're not necessarily for her. So that in itself was also a nice experience, opening and finding out what's inside. And then we find out what's actually inside. Then I take out and I see, oh, there's this nice plane. Oh, wow, that's very cool. And oh, there's these chocolates from the Estonians. And then I get to say why they're there, and Sue, my better half, gets to say, okay, that's very kind of them and very cool. So we get to bond over that, and we get to both kind of remember these people in a nice way, have a nice memory involving the people who sent the gifts. Then there are the gifts themselves. The chocolate is obvious. We're going to eat that. Maybe Saga's going to eat that. But we're definitely going to enjoy it, and we're going to think of these people. Piret from the Estonian group who took the time. Thank you for that, Piret. Especially, but also the others. We're going to think of them when we eat that chocolate. And this is going on my shelf in a moment. And whenever I wear that tie that I got, or that butterfly, or use that calendar, then I'm going to be reminded of the Aviadev guys, of Juraj and John. And I'm going to send them a small, warm thought. And if it comes up, if I'm wearing the butterfly in a meeting with somebody else, they'll say, what's that butterfly? And I'll be able to tell that story. So it's also a good way of giving, if you give people something that they can use in their life, then it's a good way of them remembering you. It's a good way of giving them a chance to talk about you if they like you already. And I like both the Estonians and the 2 Aviadev guys that I work with. I like them. So I'm happy to tell the story that's connected to them. And now they've just made it easier for me, because they've given me an alibi. They've given me an artifact, or actually several artifacts that can spur that storytelling. And even if nobody's around, even if it's just me putting around in my new Aviadev t-shirt, I'm going to think, oh, this is nice. This is comfy. I'm really glad the guy sent this to me. Wow, that was nice of them. So not only is it a nice human touch, it's also a pretty nice business touch. And I know that if you're in a small margin industry, so to speak, if you're selling Coca-Colas, you can't really send every potential Coca-Cola buyer who's going to buy 1 can of Coke, you can't send them a t-shirt just for considering that. That's not going to work. But if you're in a little bit more of a high ticket item industry, then going that extra mile, putting in that extra effort, spending those extra resources is a great way to strengthen a relationship. It's a great way to go above and beyond, to create a little bit of delight, a little bit of memory with somebody. Of course, I'm not saying you should just take this and use it as some sort of crash commercial method, but I'm also saying that some of the nice things we get in life, well, if they help somebody else, that doesn't hurt. You don't have to always sacrifice yourself to do nice things for others. Sometimes you can do something nice for somebody else, and you can do something nice for yourself at the same time, or you can have a business goal with it, or it can be part of a strategy. That's okay. That's fine. I don't mind that the guys will probably be happy that I use this on my kind of a shelf, and I get to talk more about AviaDev. I don't mind that it's a good investment for them. In fact, I like that. I'm happy to help them out that way because they're helping me and they're giving me this cool jet. Now, all of this was doable before. All of this was happening before in a physical format. But because we've now shifted to a digital world, because we don't have that built-in, yes, I should bring presents, yes, I should write notes, yes, I should have gift cards, etc. We don't have that culture established. Then those who are fast movers, those who do that extra little something, they're going to be noticed. At some point, this will probably just become a standard. But right now, if you have a meeting with somebody and you enjoyed that time and you have the resources and the energy to send that little extra something, then I suggest you do so. And what could that be? Well, for me, it could be my Robert's book. It could be an experience design card from our College of Extraordinary Experiences. It could be a handwritten note. That would be one possibility. And that's just taking from what I have here on my desk. I haven't really thought through what could be good gifts that way, but I'm sure that I could come up with something. So, we are in a digital world, but the physical still has its place, and because the physical has gotten harder, that makes it that much more delightful. So if you have a chance, I suggest take a bit of physical and support your digital reality with it. See what happens. Worst case is, you'll just have made somebody's days better. Best case, you might also have strengthened a relationship, maybe even ones in business. Thank you for listening.